I want you to imagine going back to being just 5 years old. I know for some of you that's further back than others, but just come back. Just come back to being just 5 years old at a time in your life when you are learning so many key elements to be successful, to be safe, to have things that will help you in your life, not only that day, but things that you will learn forever, and some of them we still even know to this very day. I remember things that I was taught when I was just 5 years old. I know you do too. Repeat this back after me. 3. 3, 1. 3, 1, 2. 3, 1, 2, 6. 3, 1, 2, 6, 5. 3, 1, 2, 6, 5, 3. We lost a few of you. 3, 1, 2, 6, 5, 3, 0. Good. 312-65302. We lost about 25% more. 312-653-021. Yeah. Okay, here's your last attempt right here. Here we go. Who's got it? 312-653-0213. Can anybody say it? Anybody got it? Stand up. I got a fabulous, wonderful prize for you if you can. My book, Game Plan, How the Best Teams Win. Anybody got it? Hand in the air if you got it. It's free. You already forgot. 312-653-0213 was my childhood home phone number. You remember your childhood home phone number? Some of you just have had a device in your hand since you were born. But many of us grew up where we actually had a phone, right? And this phone actually, remember that one? We went around and around, and when you screwed up, you had to hang up and start all over. Now, please do not call 312-653-0123. I have no idea who has that number today. But if you know anything about the area code 312, I am from the Chicago suburbs. Do we have any Chicago Cub fans in the house? One. Here we go. High five my one friend. No, I'm kidding. We're all friends. Free book. Free book. You know what? Yeah, free book for being the only person that said, I'm a Chicago Cub fan. There you go. I'll sign it for you after. Free book. There we go. Yeah, we are going to have some fun today. We're going to talk a little bit about teamwork, but really get you excited. See, if you don't take anything from our time together, I want you to hear this right now. The world is waiting for you. It's waiting for you. It needs you. Wherever you came from in this world, right? Wherever you came from in this country, all the way down to Central Florida, to have some fun. Anybody have fun last night at Epcot? Did anybody have too much fun at Epcot? There we go, yeah. Hey, you know what? Teamwork takes truth, right? It does. We have to be true with what we're doing. But wherever you came from, this is about understanding that when you go back, that there's a team. There's a team in your professional and personal life. There is a community that needs you. And that community can touch the entire world. The people that you meet while you're down here, you may not see them again, but you can make an impact on one another's lives. The world is waiting for you. This is the first day, my friends. This is the first day of the rest of your life. It doesn't matter how you walked in the doors. It doesn't matter if you were here at 4 o'clock in the morning because you were so excited because you couldn't wait for Stephen to give his keynote at 10 o'clock. It doesn't matter why, if you were here at 4 o'clock, fired up, ready to roll. Or if you snuck in these doors because your alarm went off at 6, but you didn't roll out of bed until 8:28. And you said, I'm tired and I don't know if I really want to go. You know what? Sometimes we get tired. Life can be hard. Our work can be hard. It doesn't matter how we showed up today. What matters is how we leave. What matters is how we go forward to help our teams win? How do teams win? And we want those teams to keep winning, whatever your team may look like. You know, I referenced remembering what it's like to be 5 years old because we are sponges when we're 5 years old. How many people here have children? How many people here have children? Almost the entire room. How many people here are children? How many people here like to act like children? Okay, we're staying with me here. We have 3 children. My beautiful wife is here. I hope you get a chance to meet her and myself after. We have 3 children, and that's the first team. For everybody in here that has children, let's begin there. That's your first team that you're going to be going back to help them be great, to win. The first team. We have 3 children. They are 21, 18, and 7. Now, I'm going to tell you the story, and I'm going to give you a little hint. It's not what you think. I can tell you that right now. It's not what you think, but I love my children. 2 of them about to graduate, 1 from college, 1 from high school, and then our little daughter, the princess, named Nevaeh, getting ready in her 3rd grade. That's the first team. If you don't have children, I want to speak to you for just a second. There are children around you. Maybe you have nieces or nephews. Maybe you have neighbors. But maybe you have siblings or parents. You have team members. We all have team members that you work with. Let us not miss this moment that there are people in your lives. You matter to them, and they matter to you. This entire conference is about learning, just like a 5-year-old. It's about learning as much as we can to go back so that your business is more effective at the end of the day, right? That's why you showed up. Well, there's more to it than just your business being effective. It's you individually also being the best that you can be for your team. So here's a mantra for us today, the game plan. How do the best teams win? They understand this very important truth. For those type A personalities out there, this is a moment to write things down. As you can tell, there's no slides. There's not going to be any slides up here and things to look at. So when you have moments, write them down. Take pictures. You want to video record it? I'm great with that too, whatever you want to do. Here's the mantra. You are better together than on your own. You are better together than on your own. You are better together than on your own. And so many times, the pressures of performing well in business, the pressures of making money, the pressures of getting all of the work done, so many times we end up focused on what we have to do, or we see people that are only focused on what they want, and we lose the mantra of better together than on their own. Truly cooperating. There must be innovation. See, just as RTA, I love Jan. He's out here and he's trying to get everybody going. And he's going, go RTA, right? He's yelling, go RTA. And that's kind of the response he got. So let's do it all together. Are we on the count of 3? We're going to go RTA. 1, 2, 3. Go RTA. There we go. With some enthusiasm. Hey, as they are moving the technology further and further into your business, into your life, now bringing out mobile opportunities so that you can take what's just in the office and now get it out into the streets, into the vehicles, right? Innovation. It's critical. You're not still just working on paper in your office like you were 50 years ago. Innovation, but effective innovation, right, is critical. Another important element of teams is continuation. They never give up. We're going to talk about that. They never give up. And then, probably one of the most important ones that there is, motivation. We have to be excited. Are you ready for this to be your best year ever? Are you ready to take this on? Are you ready for your team to do some great things? We have to stay motivated in what we're doing. These are all of the elements that every successful team has. And we could take one of them and spend an entire day holding a workshop on just innovation or on cooperation. or on setting the destination, but we don't have that type of time. Right? So we're going to just unpack a few of these. We're going to experience a few of these. Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm taking the jacket off because we're going to get rolling in here. We're going to have some fun and we're going to make it happen because I want to make sure that when you leave today, that you're transformed. That you and your business are ready to move forward. To understand that this is technology, but it's all being used by people. And everything that you do every day is working with other people. And to understand that no matter how far people may have come. I met somebody that's up from Seattle, Washington. Yeah. I met somebody that came, my friend Tom here came from the Toronto area. Did anybody come further than Seattle? Guam. Where's Guam in the house? Oh, yeah, excellent. What's your name, sir? David. Nice to meet you. Can we give it up for David for making that long trip, coming over here? You know, and while we're applauding, I have to say something because I was talking to Tom beforehand and saying, well, what do you use the software for? What do you do? And he works in the area of Toronto with the police department. And that immediately makes me think about anybody that's working in police departments and fire departments and serving in our military. They give us the freedom to come here, to play at Disney, to be safe, not perfect, but still one of the most wonderful countries. And we have people from other countries, and they're always about serving other people. What a great model of teamwork when I say that I'm going to go out each day and I'm going to serve, whether it's in law enforcement or protection or it's in a military, regardless of the country, to say I care enough about other people over myself to literally put my life on the line. Do we have anybody in this room that is a veteran of any kind serving now or past? Could you just stand up so that we could just all honor you for a moment? Thank you so much. Truly, thank you all. I get to have one of the best jobs in the world. But we have to understand that so many people love what they do, and so many people just do what they do because they maybe just have to do it. But it's under these freedoms and these protections that we get to go do it, right? That you were able to fly here or drive here and be able to represent your families. See, the teams might be smaller than we actually think. When we start realizing how important these 9 elements are coming together, that it all comes into the relationships that we have. I mean, the world is so small. We have people from around the world here, and this whole country and Canada, but it's so small. You want to know how small it is? I met Travis over here. Travis is from near Bloomington, Indiana, basketball town. We're at March Madness season, in case anybody didn't know, right? This is the middle of March, and things are going crazy. And Travis and I are discussing what he's doing, and he asked me where I live. And I said, well, I live about 60 miles north of here now. I was from Chicago, but I now live in Central Florida. And he goes, well, where do you live? And I told him this really tiny town. His brother lives like 10 minutes from my house. And he's going back there this weekend. So maybe come on over to my house. We'll have a cocktail on the lanai. The world is very small, right? And so we have to understand that the moments of working with one another and what we do for our teams matters greatly, right? So let's unpack a couple of these. So I listed 9 elements. I listed 9 elements to what it takes to be a great team. Let's begin at the beginning. Destination. You have to understand the destination. And not just you, but your team needs to understand where you're going. What's the destination? It reminds me of a story that actually intertwines a little bit into my story. In 1978, a young man went to coach a men's basketball team at NC State University. He had a destination. He wanted to win the national championship. But see, there were two things that he did that were critical to laying the groundwork for the destination. See, he didn't just say what the destination was, but he helped his team in these two very specific ways, and you can do this as well. The first is he wrote it down. He wrote it down. Where are you headed? What's the destination? It needs to be written down. Now, you've heard this before, but we don't do it often enough. Dominican University in California did a study not that long ago. And their study was taking a look at goal setting. Goal setting. Who reaches the destination? And in part, they were studying people that had the destination here in their minds, which I know all of you do, right? You have ideas. Your team says, hey, yeah, that's where we want to go. And then they were looking at another subset in their study of a group of people that actually wrote down the goals. They wrote them down. But they also did something else. They got accountability partners. They got teammates to lock arms with them. Why? Because they can encourage them. They can hold them accountable. They can be their cheerleader, right when times are tough. They can be an idea provider. They got cheerleaders and people around them. We'll call them accountability partners, but they got their team. So they wrote it down and they told other people. That's exactly what this coach did when he went to NC State. He was a relatively young man at the time, and he said, I want to win the national championship. And he got his team around him and said, this is what we're going to do. But then he wrote it down on a note card, right? Because there were no smartphones back in 1978. And everywhere he went, he would pull that note card out and say to people, we're going to win the national championship. Will you help me? Can you help me? Can you hold me accountable for my actions? Can you give me some ideas and strategies on what I need to do? He did exactly what the research proves, but he did this decades before the study. The study shows that those of us that have a destination in our minds and go for it, the study shows that we hit that 38% of the time. 38% of the time. Now, if you're playing Major League Baseball and you bat .380, that's phenomenal. But in your business and in your life, only accomplishing 38% of what you need to accomplish isn't going to cut it. But see, those that wrote their goals down and shared them with other people, the study showed that over 75% of them accomplished their goals in the time of the study. I know you all want to be in that bucket. So write your goals down. Share them with other people. Don't look at this as yeah, I've heard this before. Do it, because it matters to make a difference, to get accountability partners. This coach did a second thing. He did a second element, casting the destination for his team, but working collectively together. See, on the first practice at the beginning of the season, they walked out to the court, and he didn't even bring out a basketball. He didn't bring out a basketball. He took his team to the court, and he brought out a ladder and a pair of scissors. And one by one, he had them climb the ladder and snip at the nylon until one by one, they had cut down the nets. Why? Because that's what you do when you win. The winner gets to cut down the nets. So what does that mean for you in your business, in your life? You have to visualize the victory. You have to be able to see the destination. Where are you going? Where are you going to end up? And when you get there, what does it look like? Maybe that is a picture board. Maybe it's photos and words that you put up to describe where you're going. Maybe it's actually something physical that you can do like he did to emulate what this will look like. You have to decide what that is. That's on you. That's the action piece that you have to take out of this session to understand what will we do to help ourselves visualize the victory, right? We have to be able to visualize it to see where we're going. Well, this young man did those things, and then he did all of the other elements that we unpacked, the 9 principles of teams that win. And one of the things that they really did is they created trust in their team. They trusted one another paramount. Now, that wasn't one of the 9 words I said, right? I said destination, reorganization, evaluation, delegation, administration, continuation, cooperation, motivation. Bless you. But there has to be trust to go on the journey with someone else. I want you to think about the people that you spend most of your life with, your family, your teammates. And when you trust them completely, you can accomplish so much together. And that's what he built. His name, Jim Valvano. Maybe you've heard the story of Jimmy V. And they do go on to win the national championship 5 years later, and they do not have the best talent. They do not. They've done all types of documentaries on this team, and they've gone, how did they win? It wasn't on talent alone. It was on all the other elements that we're talking about, of what it takes to be a great team. But Jim did some other things. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but he has this wonderful speech that he gave where he says, never give up. That's the continuation combined with the motivation element of things. See, these 9 principles can be done independently, but they also intertwine together to make it an amazing journey for your team. So let's talk about one of those elements that is core to everything. We just said trust is paramount, right? You want to live with and work with people you trust. Well, since we're near Disney, and I know you had a great speaker yesterday from Disney, I have to tell a Disney story, a true story that happened with my family. See, several years ago when my daughter was just a couple of years old, this movie came out. She had never been to a movie theater before. So we got grandma on both sides of the family. We got cousins. We got the sons who were teenagers at the time. And then we got the little bitty girl. And we said, okay, we're going to pick a movie that we can all go to that hopefully everybody will enjoy. So, of course, a Disney animated film. So we're going on in there. And, you go to the movies and we're like, all right, this is going to be awesome. We're going to get in. We've got 8 people. We pay $80 to get in the door, but we're not even close to the seats, right? We've got to go past the candy counter. We're another $150 later for popcorn. And we're finally in our seats. And we're all excited, but we had no idea what to expect. We hadn't heard anything about this movie. Now, I don't know if you've heard of this movie or not. Maybe some of you have had, but it was about 2 princesses that were sisters. It was called Frozen. A few of you have seen it. If you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, I'm going to give away the end right now. We're in this movie, and we're just watching it, and it was pretty silent in the theater. And we're watching and see, and most Disney films, right? There's the hero that's the guy. I'm here to save the day. But not in this movie. See, in this movie, we've got the 2 sisters, and one of them creates this amazing ice storm. She created a problem. Her sister is trying to help her, Anna, trying to bring Elsa back. Anna falls in love with the prince. And she's all excited. And we're watching this movie. And at the very end, in the middle of the storm, Anna's torn. She's found out that her prince is actually the bad guy. And she's walking through the storm trying to find her other friend. And she hears these cries. And she sees her sister who's down and crying and realizes she created this entire mess. And then she sees who she thought was her knight in shining armor. and she sees him coming over to her sister, raising up his sword. The man she thought and trusted had now turned on her and is about to take her sister out. And she goes over there and she jumps in front of the blade and she goes up. Frozen. Do you remember that? And my daughter, 2 years old, the star of the movie, is frozen. And in the quiet of the theater, she goes, "Oh, no!" That's exactly what the entire theater did. Good job. It was an oh no moment. See, because they didn't tell us that was going to happen, right? They fooled us. We believed that this man was trustworthy, and he turned out not to be. It works fantastically in the movies and in entertainment. It works terribly in your life professionally and personally. We never want to have the oh no moment. We don't want people to be surprised, to be fooled. Oh yeah, sorry, you thought I was going to be that person and do it that way, but I'm actually not. We don't want that. We have to eradicate that from our teams and our lives. We cannot have people that tear the team apart. We cannot have people that are not trustworthy. Right? We have to have trust at the core element of everything else. But I want you to see something else in this story. Other than my daughter's cute oh no. I want you to see Anna. She was willing to say to her sister, "I know you caused this. I know this is your fault. But I still love you. I still forgive you. And I'm going to still help you because you're in my team." Is that how you feel about your team members? And when those moments happen, are you there to say to them, "I understand you slipped and fell, but I'm here to help you up. I'm here to still love on you. I'm still here to forgive you. We're a team. We're better together than on our own. We're better together than on our own. And I'm going to lift you back up, and together we're going to move forward, and we're going to have the most happiest ending that any movie has ever seen because we will not give up on one another." That's what great teams do. They help each other win, right? And in the basketball world, it's actually called an assist. See, if I'm going in to shoot a basket as a player, and I pass that off to my teammate, and they score, they get the points. I get credited with an assist. Now, in the women's game, I was never this good of a referee, so I never got to referee the Yukon Huskies. But any of you from the Northeast or follow women's basketball, Gino Oriama and the Yukon Huskies women's team is one of the most amazing basketball teams, one of the most amazing teams to study in the last decade, no question. Do you know that their starting five last year had more assists? Each of them had more assists than each of them had turnovers. They were doing better protection of what was important in their team to help one another succeed than they were making mistakes. They weren't focused on their own stats of scoring. They were scoring because they were helping one another score. It wasn't about the one-on-one play. It was about the team. Let me assist you. Hey, I'll make it look like and here's the pass, and up it goes. Scoring was occurring. Winning was occurring. And it's attributed to the assist, the helping of the teammate. That's the cooperation factor. So I think it's important that when we talk about helping others win, right, we want to help our teammates be successful. Do we have anybody in here that has ever booed a referee? I take it by the giggles that you all have been there, in the stands watching me screw up. Oh, Josh. Yeah, you're getting pointed out by John over there. Hey, I'm going to need 3 volunteers because we're going to have a little fun over here. We're going to play a little game. Because I think sometimes we can experience things that help us even better than hearing things. We want to help people win through innovation, through cooperation, right? Through motivation by staying focused on what they're doing. So we're going to need 3 volunteers. 2 people are going to come up and play. They're going to be teammates. And the third person is going to come up and gets to be the whistleblower and play the referee. So here's how it's going to go. I've got this ball. It's a little spongy ball. It's not going to really hurt anybody. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to get 3 volunteers, and here's how we're going to volunteer. I'm going to throw the ball into the audience. If the ball hits you, consider yourself volunteered. However, if you are able to catch the ball, you can turn to the person next to you, and they are volunteered. And once you've been volunteered, you have to come forward. This is how it's going to work, okay? If the ball hits you, you've been volunteered. If you catch it, you can turn to the person next to you, and they have been volunteered. All right, are we ready? Y'all ready? Get your hands in the air. Everybody's ready to go? You ready? Tiffany, you want to play? All right, here we go. You ready? I'm going to come out here. That way I get a little bit closer. They all think over here that they're, my arm's not that good. Here we go. Ball's in the air. Oh, come on forward. Let's go, Vicky. Vicky, come on up. Give it a hand for Vicky. Now, since you're first, you have the option of being a player or the referee. Referee. Vicky's the referee. All right, Vicky, you're going to stand right here. You can stand up on the stage, actually, in the nice bright lights. They all want to see your face. All right, here we go. Here comes another one. Ball's in the air. Oh, it hit you. You're up. Let's go, John. John's in the air. Give it up for John. Give it up for John. John, you're going to come up over here. All right, we got to have one more. We got to have one more. We'll toss it back here. Lene, it did hit you. But since you brought me here, I'll toss it again. All right, there we go. It hit somebody. Come on up. Gail's coming on up. Here we go. All right, we're going to do this real fast. So John and Gail are going to be teammates. And we want to help John and Gail win, just like we want to help your teammates win when you're back home, right? This is about helping others win. All right, do you guys want to come up on the stage, or do you want to stay down here? Whatever you're comfortable with. You're good down here. All right, John, I want you to stand here and face this way. Gail, I want you to come over here and face John. You guys are not going to have to touch each other, okay? You're not going to have to guard each other. You don't even have to dribble the ball. All right, all I want you to do is shoot a basket. And if you can make one basket without breaking the rules, we all win. Okay, that's the goal here. That's the destination. They make one basket without breaking the rules. Now, here's the innovation part. You all are going to have to get really creative because I'm not going to tell them the rules. That's why Vicky has a whistle. So every time, Vicky, that I point to you, that means they violated a rule at that very moment. And when I point to you, what are you going to? Go, give it to us. There we go. Every time I point to you, Vicky's going to blow the whistle, and that's going to tell us that they have broken a rule. Now remember, our goal here is we want them to win. I also want you to be safe. So be very careful, okay? Be very careful. We don't have to move around too much here. All right, is everybody ready? John and Gail, are you ready?
Yes.
Do you have any questions? Where's the basket? Have you heard the expression, if there's no goal, there's nothing to shoot for? John, put your hands forward. That's the basket.
Oh boy.
Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to be very kind, because if you make a mistake, Vicky's going to blow the whistle. And then I'm going to give the ball to John, and you're going to become the basket. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back and forth as quickly as we can, all right? You're going to try different things to make a basket. You're just going to try some different types of shots to make a basket. And they're going to give you ideas if you run out of ideas, aren't you? Because we're all in a team here. You ready to go? Here you go.
Can I move?
Sure.
That's a rule. I can move.
Are we on the same team or we're opposite?
You're on the same team. You're trying to work together. He's moving the basket. Whoa! Now, I got to tell you, I have done this hundreds of times. And the correct answer to this activity is the basket has to move to the player. And you guys got it right out of the box, so you kind of destroyed the whole thing. But I got to tell you this. What were you thinking you wanted to do?
Get it in the basket.
Get it in the basket, right? And so right away you go, well, I'm just going to walk over to her, right? It's very innovative, right? And so here's the point. There's a second way that you can do this. So try another shot. This time you don't move. You do something different. You're going to walk. Blow the whistle, Vicki. Okay. Yeah. Do it again. Do it again. Vicki just called traveling. You. That is awesome. Okay. You know what? It can be a lot of fun as we do things, and you could try a variety of different shots. And I love how John just walked right on over and was totally different. I want you to make a shot, and I only want you to walk without dribbling. And I only want, go ahead and go on over there.
So,
you can walk.
Is this a dribble?
That is so good. For all of you that couldn't see it, she goes, is this a dribble? Hey, you know what? I think the point is made that we want to help people win, right? And we want to be creative in what we're trying to do. And y'all laughed when she walked over there and Vicki blows the whistle. She goes, traveling. Right? But here's the point. People make mistakes. And some of us, sometimes, Vicki, give me the loudest whistle blow you can do. Even louder. Give us a big one. There we go. You know what we do sometimes? You know what people do to us sometimes? They just blow the whistle. They just keep saying over and over again, no, that's not right. That's not right. Instead of being creative, instead of being innovative, instead of saying, if I had come over here and said, here's what I want you to do to make a basket. I don't want you to move. I want you to move the basket to her. I want you to stand still. I want you to drop it in. Now, ultimately, you guys got pretty close. But how much easier it would have been if I had told them exactly what they needed to do in order to find victory. And I kind of set Vicki up in this role of, you're just going to blow the whistle when they make mistakes, right? That's what referees do. That's why people hate referees, because they just blow the whistle anytime mistakes are made. But in your team and in your life, we don't want to do that. So I want to thank you guys for coming up and John being so creative, but I do have a little parting gift for you before you all leave. You can keep the whistle. For those moments, for those stress reliever moments in your life, here's a little Fox Point stress reliever basketball that you can work on. Thank you, V. Can you give it up to them again? You know, we have to be creative, but we don't want to be the whistleblower. We don't want to be somebody that just stands there and says, traveling. For those of you that know the game of basketball, when a whistle is blown and somebody's going up for a shot, people get really excited. Because if the ball goes in the hoop, you've got a foul and you've got and one, right? So anytime somebody goes up and that crazy move is made and they hear that whistle blow and everybody, whoo, and one. They love that. That's the only time they love the referee. And one. That's what you want to give your team. You want to create things like this. Now, this is embedded inside the 9 principles. This is fun. We laughed, right? We did something different and unique. Don't miss that in your workplace, right? That's a key part of motivation, is that we find ways to keep it focused, but keep it fun. We find ways to bring out the incitement in what we're doing. I was talking to Tara over here. Tara's from Georgia, and she was saying to me that she loves football. She didn't know anything about basketball, which is okay, but she loves football. I said, why do you love football? She said, my dad coached the whole time I was growing up. I just loved it. I said, well, why did you love it? It was fun. I loved being there with the teammates. I loved seeing what was happening. I just loved the game. We've got to get that back. You want a team to win, we got to keep making it fun. We got to keep making it real, because we're still people at the end of the day, that are showing up. We're people, and we're all looking for some fun. Sometimes I say, if it's not fun, I'm done. Right? The work is hard enough. And the work matters. It's important. Whether you're in a business that is carrying goods or carrying vehicles, or your business is carrying people, it all matters. It's all a part of our economy and our system and our world moving around. It's about getting things and people to places that they need to go, but getting them there safely, right? That's what it's all about. But it can also still be fun in the process. Right? And that's some of that motivation. That's where it comes from. When Jimmy Valvano said, don't give up. Don't ever give up in anything that you do. Right? Because we're going to make mistakes sometimes. But we've got to be ready to be great teammates. We've got to be ready to be a great teammate. This is a true story. Great friend of mine, one of my best friends, he and I wrote a book called You're Missing a Great Game. Because that's what we heard from the stands all the time. You're missing a great game. I said, no, I've shown up. We only miss the game when we don't show up. One of his first ever Division I games. Now, Division I is the big schools, the big arenas, ESPN, right? The big schools. Not that the small schools don't matter, but when you have the big schools, you have big expectations, you have big paychecks, and he was at one of his first ever Division I games. He's out there with his team of 3, as we are every single night, and I'm just going to protect the innocent, and I'm going to call them Larry, Mo, and Curly. Because you all think we're 3 stooges anyway, right? So my friend is on this game, and Larry has a foul call. And she goes up, and she hits it, and that player's going up for a basket, and Larry starts walking over to report the foul. And as Larry gets over there to report, Mo comes running over. And Mo says, hey, that basket went in. And Larry's like, thank you. See a teammate helping out. Larry turns around, say it with me, and one, right? Reports that foul, turns around, and here comes the coach from the other team, as well as a few thousand fans screaming, the ball didn't go in! Uh-oh. Okay, so we're all going to be Larry in the story. You got to work with your teammates now. What do? We got to make a decision. We got to do the right thing for our team, for our business, for our families, for our customers. We got to do the right thing. We don't want to do the wrong thing. So Larry says, well, I'll go ask Curly. So Larry walks on over and says, Curly, did you see if that ball went in? Curly said, what ball? You know the orange one that we've been playing with for an hour and a half? So now what do, right? So Larry walks on over to the table and goes to the scorekeeper. And she says, did you see if that ball went in? And that scorekeeper looks up with her glasses that were so thick she could see the future. And she says, I think so. This is true. These are the words that are used. So now Larry walks back over to Mo and says, because this is what you should do. Use all your resources. Don't do it alone. Better together than on your own. And Larry walks back over to Mo and says, are you sure that ball went in? And Mo goes, not anymore. Now, mind you, the Jumbotrons are replaying it. And the coaches are going, look up. And he's going, I can't. Because that's against the rules. See, even though there's replay monitors, right, and you probably see officials over there, football, baseball, basketball, doesn't matter, there's still rules about what you can go see, and that's not one of them. Oh, my. Larry counted the basket. True story. Game went to overtime. And that team that they gave the 2 points to won the game by 1 point in overtime. They left the game. They didn't know. Like, it's a good day at work, right? Hey, I think we did pretty good today. We had some bumps in the road, but we did pretty good. They went home. They slept. They got up. You've got mail. An email from the coordinator of the league with a subject line that just says, the ball did not go in. And there's the video play. Wouldn't you love it if the mistakes that you made are sent to you in video clips every other morning? You know, the truth is that they had to make some decisions on what they were going to do. And in that moment, they decided to be refined by that mistake instead of be defined by their mistake. They decided in that moment that they would be motivated to keep going forward. They would not make excuses. When the coordinator talked to my friend Mo, his real name is Jeff, and she said, "Jeff, what happened?" And he said, "This is on me." What he could have said was, "Well, Larry made the final decision, and Curly didn't even know what game we were playing." But he didn't do that. He owned it. And they all looked at it. And you're being told this story over a decade after it happened because when we screw up, help others avoid it. So many times our world wants to point out the failures of people and rip them down and take them out and say they aren't any good, like we're all perfect. That's why I don't watch the news anymore, because all it wants to show me is how everybody else is making mistakes. We all make mistakes. So when your team makes one, when you make one, stay focused on the future. Be refined by it, not defined by it. Be refined. And then you can move forward to greatness. See, Jeff's goal was to become a full-time Division I official, and he thought his career was over before it even began. But it was the motivation. It was the ownership, right? It was him through cooperation, staying focused on his destination, finding new ways to innovate. How can I teach other people? Because if I start teaching others, I'll become better myself. Don't we understand that? That the teacher actually learns more than the student because we're constantly preparing to get better. My friend Jeff is a full-time Division I official today. He works in the Big Ten and all kinds of other conferences. Just a couple of days ago, he worked the Summit League Conference Championship game. The winner goes to the big dance. He didn't get there because he gave up. He got there because of that moment defining that he would choose to be refined versus letting it define. Right? There's so many things that we can unpack, and we're starting to run out of time, believe it or not. So I'm going to hit the pause button real quick and wrap up with a final story. So if you are so inclined, see, this is a journey. We're better together than on our own. We can find ways through cooperation to work together. We don't want to be like Curly in the story. We want to be ready to help our teammates. We want to be like Princess Anna that is there in somebody's time of trouble. But we don't want to be in the oh no moment. We want to be like Jim Valvano and set a destination and have our team visualize it. If you're interested in more inspiration and information to help you on your journey, I have a couple things for you. The first one is totally free. If you would like to connect and receive some inspiring videos, I send out a couple of them every single month. You can write this down or pull out your smartphone. You can text to the numbers 66866. Those numbers again are 66866. If you text to those numbers, and the three letters you're going to text are RTA. You're going to text RTA to 66866. RTA to 66866, and you'll go through the process of getting connected, getting signed up. You'll get a free book, an ebook that's absolutely free, and then you'll get some videos on an ongoing basis. I'd love to journey with you. And if you ever respond to a single one of those communications, it comes directly to my inbox. And it is a way for us to stay connected. We're better together than on our own. I want to learn as much from you as we can learn collectively together as possible. So I'd love to connect with you in that way. Also, after this break, and then after the next speaker is completed for that break, out by the registration desk, so heading out toward where the restrooms are, where lunch is, and those types of things, my wife is sitting out there, and we have all 5 of the books that I've written on leadership and teamwork. And we're offering up to 35% off today, depending on the package that you buy, compared to getting them retail, online, or on Amazon. So if you're interested in picking up a resource to continue on your journey, to read more, to learn more, I'll be happy to meet you out there, shake your hand, take a picture, sign a book, whatever it might be. I don't want you to go forward without having transformation in your life. It takes information and inspiration to bring about transformation, but only if you do one thing, and that is application. See, you'll be given opportunities to write things down throughout this conference. What will you do with what you have received? The information and the inspiration that you have, what will you do to bring about transformation? I'd love to connect with you. Send the text, stop out at the book stand, and we'll connect with you there. Final story. Jim Valvano, right? Jim Valvano wins the national championship, and then he goes on to become an ESPN announcer. And he comes back to the ESPY Awards about 10 years later, and he's helped up to a podium. Some of you may know the story of how he gets up to that podium, and he tells the entire world that he's imminently dying of cancer. And he gives this famous presentation about never giving up. It's the motivation element. Never giving up. He wasn't talking about basketball. He was talking about our lives. As he's dying, imminently, he passes shortly thereafter. He's telling the world, do you understand that you matter? Do you understand that where you live, you are there for this season for a specific reason? He was saying, do you understand that your team needs you? Your family needs you. Your work family needs you. You can make a difference. He was saying in his words what we said at the beginning. Never give up. Why? Because the world is waiting for you. He was reminding us as he's dying. Now, in a room this size, I'm pretty certain there's people in here that have lost family members and close people to cancer. Maybe you've battled it yourself. But in a room this size, we're going to be affected by it because it affects a lot of lives. It truly does. And it is a reminder for us to live each moment to our fullest. The greatest teams win through continuation because they never give up. No matter what failure or struggle they hit, they never give up. No matter what hardship comes, they never give up. No matter how hard the competition, no matter how few the resources, they never give up. And it's easy to say, it's hard to do. And I remember the day in May of 2002 when we walked into the doctor's office and we sat down and he looks at us all disheveled and he says, I didn't sleep last night. He goes, I don't know how to say this. And he looks right at my wife and he says, you have cancer. And I'm going, boys were 4-1. I had a team of 150 people, $35 million operation. I had all these things going around in my life. And I truly believe in my heart that that was the moment that God grabbed me and said, stop. Stop chasing and start living. Start making a difference in people's lives. This isn't about you, Randy. This is about the family that you have. This is about the people that you work with every day. This is about making a difference in the world. The world's waiting for you, Randy, and you're trying to take it all for yourself, and he grabbed me, and he changed me. I wish that part of this story hadn't happened. I don't have a reason for that. But I know that how she finished her life and how it impacted my life, that began a journey 15 years ago, more than 15 years ago now, 17 years ago, that brought me to you today. Because the world really is waiting for you. You're still here. You can make a difference. Your team is waiting for you to do something remarkable. And with all the fun we've had and all the things that we've talked about, Make sure that those that you love the most, that you care for them every single day. As you're striving for success in your life, and we see all these definitions of success, if you're struggling to put your arms around what it means to be successful, you can borrow my definition of success. It's this: love the life you live and love those you live it with. It's that simple. If you truly go back to work and say, I'm just going to love this place. I'm going to love these people. I'm going to put my heart and soul into it. I'm going to love everything that I'm doing. I'm going to love the people around me, even if they don't deserve it. You will find joy in life. I promise you that. Just as I did later that year after my wife had passed away, and I went to the referee basketball meeting. Preseason meeting, and I sat down in a room about this size, and I sat down next to a woman from Madison, Wisconsin, and we began a conversation, and that conversation continued, and that conversation continued. And about 6 months later, we decided to make it the forever conversation, and you can meet her in the lobby. Marnie and I have been married now almost 12 years, and when I was 40 years old, she said to me, hey, I think we should have another kid. Focused on what matters for your team. Use this software to make a difference in your business, but use this time and this networking and these connections to make a difference in the people's lives, because that's what will change your business even more so. The combination of using great tools and resources with great people that collectively work together for that same destination, that's how teams win. That's how teams keep winning, because they never give up. They never give up. They never give up. You know, at the end of the day, my friends, this is the first day of the rest of your life. We said that at the beginning. The question for you is this the first day of the best of your life? It can be. I hope that for you. I desire that for you and your teams. And when you go back home, share these messages. Share your insights with them. Because like we said at the beginning, never forget this. Wherever you go, whatever you do, the world is waiting for you. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you, John. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Have a great conference.